Hello, my dear learners. Welcome you all to this online learning platform of Seva Public School. Today, we are going to start another interesting chapter from your textbook, that is Honeycomb, and the chapter is 5th, and this session is going to be based on the first part explanation as well as reading. So the chapter which we are going to study today, that is called Quality. Yes, which has been retold for us, which has been told by John Galsworthy, written by John Galsworthy, who is one of the character in this chapter, who comes as one of the character in this chapter. Children, quality. What is the definition of the quality? Let's see. The definition of the quality is the standard of something as measured against other things of a similar kind. Yes, the definition of the quality is when you started to measure the standard of a thing with a similar kind of thing, then only it will be considered as the quality. The standard of something as measured against other things of a similar kind will be considered as the quality. And let's see some synonym of quality: standard, grade, class, classification, or caliber, or status. These are the synonyms of quality. So children, we are going to start in this today's session the chapter which is called Quality. First part, this session is going to be based on the first part reading and explanation. So now let's start the reading ahead. Quality. Children, before starting the reading of the lesson, let's see some before knowledge. Children, can you consider a shoemaker as an artist? Can you consider him as an artist, as a great artist? Yes, why not? We have to. If he has same skill and pride in his trade as any other artist are having, and the same respect for it too, we have to consider him as an artist, and we have to give him same respect and same respect and pride to him also. So here in this story, Mr. Gessler, a German shoemaker, settled in London, and he is one of the perfect artists of shoemaker, which we are going to see in this chapter. Yes, children, that's why I asked you a question, that can a shoemaker consider as an artist? Yes, of course he will be considered as an artist, because he is doing this extreme work in his genre of work. So let's see the story of Mr. Gessler, who is a German shoemaker. About him only this complete chapters tells us how he was dedicated towards his shoemaking and how he devotes his life in his work. And that's why the chapter name has given as Quality. His complete life, he sacrifices of doing shoes in a great quality, in a great comfort zone. So let's start the reading. I knew him from the days of my extreme youth, because he made my father's boots. He lived with his elder brother in his shop, which was in a small by street in a fashionable part of London. Children, the chapter starts by the wordings of John Galsworthy, who was knowing a shoemaker who lives in London with his brother, and how he knows him because his father, John Galsworthy, father was going to his shop to purchase food, and the man who make the shoes, Mr. Gessler, was making shoes for the father of John Galsworthy. So he knew him from his childhood days, and he was living in London with his father, who was living in London, Mr. Gessler. Yes, he was living in London. They were having a shop of shoes in a small street of fashionable part of London. The shop had a certain quite distinction. There was no sign upon it other than the name of Gessler Brothers, and in the window a few pairs of boots. He made only what was ordered, and what he made never failed to fit. To make boots, such boots as he made, seemed to me then, and still seems to me, mysterious and wonderful. Children, the shop was a little bit different from other shop, because this shop was quite simple, separation from other shops. Underline this word, children, distinction. Underline this word and write the meaning of the word distinction, separation. Yes. So it was a little bit different from other shop, because it doesn't have any colorful things in the shop as well as outside of the shop. The board was having only single word that is called, that was the name of the shop was Gessler Brothers. And in window they have only few pairs of boots which was already ordered, and the speciality of that shop was they don't make shoes and keep for selling. Who will order shoes, for them only they will make. So this is the speciality of the shop, and the shoes they will make, which they make, those will never fail to fit or off in any quality. They are and this made the author in wonderful. This is mystery for author, how it is possible to make this kind of high quality shoes, and which never ever failed. That is also very important here. Sorry. So, I remember well my shy remarks one day while stretching out to him my youthful foot. Isn't it awfully hard to do, Mr. Gessler? And his answer given with a sudden smile from out of the readiness of his beard. It is an art. So when he was young, he went to the shop and he asked very shyfully to the Mr. Gessler that when he was giving his foot for checking, for measuring, then he asked him very nicely that, don't you think it is difficult? Then he replies with a smile that it is an art, making comfortable shoes and high quality shoes. It is an art for the Mr. Gessler. It was not possible to go to him very often. His boots lasted terribly. Underline this word terribly, means long lasting. Yes, lasted terribly means long lasting. Having something beyond the temporary, some essence of boot stitched into them. See children, it is not the Mr. John Galsworthy is saying that it was not often to go and visit the shop because the boots which he purchased from him were terribly long lasting for him. So it is not possible to go again and again for his shop. One went in not as into most shops, but restfully as one enters a church, and sitting on the single wooden chair waited a guttural sound, and the tip tap of his slippers beating the narrow wooden stairs, and he would stand before one without coat, a little bent in leather apron with sleeves turned back, blinking as if awakened from some dream of boots. Awakened from some dreams of boots. So children, as I already said you that this shop is completely different from other shop. It doesn't have any colorful things, lightning, anything at all. It was seems to the author that as if he was going to church, same feeling he was getting by sitting in the wooden chair in that shop and waiting for Gessler to come down, because he was making shoes in the upstairs and he was waiting for the Gessler. As he was coming down, he heard a tip tap sound of the. So in this paragraph, we get to know about the shop of Gessler Brothers, which seems as church. When author goes inside the shop, he feels as if he is sitting in a church because of the atmosphere in the shop. It was not at all looking like other shops. And one more thing, when he was waiting and he was sitting and waiting for the Gessler to come down and to take the measurement of his feet, then he heard the tip tap sound, which was of his slippers when he was coming down by the wooden stairs. And he came and he stood in front of him, and he was wearing a shirt which was half sleeves of that shirt were coat were turned back, and his eyes were blinking, and he was looking as if he was awakened from some dream of boots. Means he was dreaming, and he was completely involved in the making of shoes, boots. Then a customer came, the author came, so he come out from his dream of making boots, and he came in front of the author. And I would say, how do you do, Mr. Gessler? Could you make me a pair of Russian leather boots? Then when the shoemaker came down, Gessler came down and stand in front of the author. Then author asked him, how do you do, Mr. Gessler? And he said, can you make me a pair of shoes which were made by Russian leather boots, Russian leather, which have to be made by Russian leather. Then, without a word, he would leave me, retiring whence he came, or into the other portion of the shop, and I would continue to rest in the wooden chair, inhaling the incense of his trade. So when the author asked him that, how are you, and can you make me a pair of shoes of Russian leather, then Gessler did not reply for his question, and he left the author on that wooden chair itself, and he went to the other corner of the shop to take some things. And here underline the word inhaling, means breathe, breathe. Inhaling means breathe. And incense means smell. Incense means smell. Okay. Soon he would come back, holding in his hand a piece of gold brown leather. With eyes fixed on it, he would remark, "What a beautiful piece!" When I too had admired it, he would speak again, "When do you want them?" When author was asking many two questions, when he asked him two questions, that how are you, and is it possible to you to make a pair of boots of Russian leather, then he did not reply. He went away, and he took some leather from other part of the shop, and he was glancing at that piece of the leather which was in the color of brown. And when author saw that piece of leather, then he said, he admired, he was beautified with that beauty of the piece. Then he says, it was wonderful, how beautiful piece it is. Then Gessler replied that, when do you want your pair of boots? When do you want them? Dem means them, it is old English. Okay. And I would answer, oh, as soon as you conveniently can. Yes. So he replied, as soon as possible for you to make them. How much time you want to take to make them, that time you can do it, you can give it to me. No particular time for that. Then, and he would say, tomorrow for night. Yes, tomorrow for night. He replied that, tomorrow fortnight. Or if he were his elder brother, I will ask my brother. Then I would murmur, thank you, good morning, Mr. Gessler, good morning. He would reply, still looking at the leather in his hand, and as I moved to the door, I would hear the tip tap of his slipper going up the stairs to his dream of boots. Then when he said, as soon as possible for you, that time you make and give it to me. Then he says, tomorrow fortnight, is it possible? But I will ask to my brother. Means the shop belongs to two brothers, Gessler brother, that's why the name has given as Gessler brother. Then okay, one more brother has come down, and then I would murmur. He was say, when he saw another elder brother of Mr. Gessler, he says, he greeted him that good morning. He too replied good morning. Then after that, when he was moving towards the door to come out from the shop, then again he heard the same sound. Means again he heard the same sound of tip tap. It was the sound of Mr. Gessler going back again for his walk. So I cannot forget that day on which I had occasion to say to him, Mr. Gessler, that last pair of boots cracked your now. Creaked, sorry, Mr. Gessler, the last pair of boots creaked you no, you know? Means he is asking. I cannot forget that day on which I had occasion to say to him that, Mr. Gessler, that last pair of boots creaked, you know? He asked him again, and he is that was different conversation, that was different meeting, that was different incident which he expressed in front of us, the author expressed in front of us. Now he is expressing another incident which happened with them. What was it? Let's see children. When one day he met Gessler, and he complained about the boots which were made by them. It was unforgettable for him, because the shoes which were made by them was long lasting and was very qualified. Everything was very in quality. We can't take any mistake from them. We cannot pick out any mistakes from the quality of the boots. So that day, when he complained, that day he can't forget. He asked Mr. Gessler that the pair of shoes which you made me last time, those were creaked, not fitted me properly, was biting me. in this manner he says. He looked at me for a time without replying, as if expecting me to withdraw or qualify the statement, then said, "It shouldn't have grieved. It did, I am afraid. You you got them were wet before they found themselves." "I don't think so." At that he lowered his eyes as if hunting for memory of those boots, and I felt sorry I had mentioned this grave thing. "Send them back," he said. "I will look at them. Some boots," he continued slowly, "are bad from birth. If I can do nothing with them, I take them off your bill." Children, when author expressed a complaint in front of the Gessler, then Gessler was quite shocked by listening it, and he was waiting without replying that he might be change his status or statement which he expressed now, but he couldn't. Then he replied, he asked him, "Have you brought them with you now?" He said, "No, I don't think, no, I didn't." Then he also commented here that uh, some boots, the leather or boots will be damaged or bad by their birth. So you go back to home and send them those boots which were creaked, which were not fitting to you and which were giving trouble to you. Send them to me. I will pay you back. Children, you just imagine how loyal they are towards their work. If we are purchasing a pair of boots or a shoes or a slippers from any shop, do you think they are going to take them away though it is a good quality or a branded boots? No, no, not at all. Nobody will give guarantee, and nobody will say that if they are creaked then we will pay you back. Nobody. So here on this statement, by this statement itself, we can realize how they are dedicated towards their work and towards the quality of the boots. Once only I went absent-mindedly into his shop in a pair of boots bought in an emergency at some large firm. He took my order without showing me any leather, and I could feel his eyes penetrating the inferior covering of my foot. At last he said, "Those are not my boots." Children, when author expressed his complaint in front of him, and when he saw the guilty feeling in the eyes of Gessler, then he felt very bad, and he regretted by doing that act in front of them. After that, once again he went to the shop to order some boots, but that time he was wearing the slippers or boots which were not made by them, which were purchased in any other in other shop because of some emergency purpose. So he wore those shoes and he went to the shop. That time he was feeling he went in absent-mindedly, sad. He was little bit afraid. So they should not think bad about their quality of the boots. So in that fear, he was a little bit absent-mindedly went inside the shop. Then Gessler did not show any other leather. Without showing the leather, he has taken the order of author. And lastly, he was looking constantly on those shoes which were worn by the author. And then he asked him, said him that those boots were which you are wearing now, those are not mine. He said, and children, in this paragraph, underline the word penetrating. Underline the word penetrating means understand. Penetrating means understand. Yes. Next, inferior means low. Inferior means low. Next, the covering. Yeah, inferior means low. Okay. Till here, I complete my explanation of the first part. Till this paragraph itself, I will complete now. We will continue this second part in the second session. Again, we will meet with the wonderful chapter which was told by, yes, John Galsworthy. And this chapter is all about a shoemaker to whom we can consider as an artist, a wonderful artist who make very good shoes, boots. So I hope you understand the explanation of this chapter, this part. So thank you so much for watching this video.